Hey everybody, welcome back to Tara's Books Beyond and Day 6 of VEDUS. I've got some good ones for you today. From a certain point of view, we've got the red one by Carson, and then I've also got the fourth act of The Phantom of Menace. The red one is from the perspective of R5-D4, and he's the little red astromech droid that Uncle Owen almost bought instead of R2-D2, but then R5 kind of blew up, and so then R2 was bought instead. But this little story gives a lot more depth to that droid than just an old piece of junk that kind of exploded. In the story, we find out that R5 has been stuck on the Sandcrawler for 4 years, and no one has ever bought him, to the point where the Jawas aren't even trying to sell him because nobody really wants an astromech droid. He's not being maintained, his parts are malfunctioning, he's basically dying, and he's desperately just hoping that someone will buy him one day, so that even if he doesn't last long, at least he'll die with a purpose of some kind. And then all of a sudden, one day, the Jawas inform him that yes, there's actually a homestead, there's a moisture farmer that has requested an astromech droid, and R5 is like, finally, this is my chance, I'm finally getting out of here! And then a few minutes later, they fish out R2 from the sand, and R5 is immediately despondent, and he's like, God, my one chance, and they found the newer, sexier astromech model. God damn it! And then he only grows more bitter when he wakes up in the middle of the night to find R2 trying to sabotage him, and R2 tries to justify it by saying, hey, listen, there's shit going down, I'm on an important mission, if I don't complete it, the universe is doomed. And R5 is like, I don't care, I just want to live. But through the night and through the sales pitch the next morning, R2 keeps on asking, pleading, begging with R5 to somehow help him be sold right now because he doesn't want to delay anything. And eventually R5 just comes to believe him. In some small spark of hope, he decides that maybe allowing R2 to be sold right now is what's better, and maybe this will be his purpose. So he screws up some of his internal systems, he blows the motivator, and he essentially sacrifices himself so that R2 can be with 3PO and Luke and eventually lead to the events of the series. It's really touching and also kind of heartbreaking just because so many people in droids, they lost their lives, they sacrificed themselves for the good of rebellion over the course of the war, but the difference is that they knew that was coming. They knew that at some point they might be asked to give their lives in the name of their duty, and they did that, and they knew that that was a price they might have to pay for the greater good. But R5, he does that, but that's not something he expects. He starts off the story wanting to live. He wants to get out of here and have a purpose other than just scrap. And then when he does find his purpose, he has this sudden snap decision that maybe he should give his life. Maybe he should give the benefit of the doubt to this little droid who has been pleading him desperately that the universe is going to be doomed unless he can't get his message to the person who needs it. And so he just decides to lay his life down for the sake of this droid he's only known for a few nights. It's the most emotionally powerful story so far in this book, so that one I'm going to give 5 stars for sure. Now, I really enjoyed what I read for The Phantom of Menace today as well, but that's for completely different reasons, and specifically for Act 4, Scene 5. It starts off in the Jedi Archives, and there's 2 random Jedi. They're not even named. There's Jedi 1 and Jedi 2. Jedi 1 is explaining to Jedi 2 how he's found this strange pattern in the Force. Every 30 years or so, the Force seems to take a step backwards, and basically everything that seems like commonplace technology all of a sudden seems very advanced, and then the newer technologies actually seem very decrepit and low-tech compared to the stuff that came before it. Jedi 1 is like, well, like the starships that we have today, they're much more sleek and advanced than the ones that came before them, and I feel like in 30 years' time, the starships that we see are going to be way less advanced than what we have now. And same with technology and fashions, and maybe the Jedi ourselves. Basically, it's this whole delightfully meta conversation about how all the tech and special effects in the prequel trilogy look so much more advanced than stuff in the original trilogy, even though the original trilogy comes after the prequels, so stuff should have advanced, but instead it regressed somehow. It's just, I was chuckling the entire time I read that exchange. But wait, there's more! So after the 2 Jedi leave, we get Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon talking for a bit, then Obi-Wan leaves and Anakin comes in, and this is where Dosher has transplanted the conversation about midichlorians. Yeah, the goddamn midichlorians. This is the part where Qui-Gon explains to Anakin how they work and how great they are and how they're connected to the Force. And then we get to, so remember, this is Act 4, Scene 5, and the specific line is line 131. This is just after Qui-Gon's explained to Anakin all about how great the midichlorians are. Anakin. 'Tis difficult to comprehend this news. Qui-Gon. Oh, thou art not alone, if thou canst not the midichlorians yet understand. Yet be thou patient, and in time thou shalt. Anakin, aside. If I have heard aright, it seems to me the midichlorians make a tough sell. And there's only one act left in that play, which means that by Sunday I should be able to move on to episode 2. But for now, that's everything I've got for you today. If you want to keep watching me vlog every day until Star Wars, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. You can also find updates daily on my Instagram, or you can track my progress through my Goodreads. But until tomorrow, I'll see you all later.